Nerd shit in the dark. Grab your popcorn and get ready to experience nerd shit in the dark. Please listen nicely.
Welcome, everybody.
Welcome
to Nerd Shit in the Dark,
Season 3.
Season 3, Episode 1. In Season 3, we got a bit of a better budget. I don't know if you guys know, but this is a very special episode. Tell them why, Braden.
Well, Chase, we recently acquired 2 new professional-sounding microphones.
We sure did.
Yep, that's right, people. The Nerd Shit budget is increasing exponentially.
Our manager, Miranda, got us some more cash, got us some...
Yep, she is pulling in the merch deals, pulling in the business partnerships.
Left and right.
Airline deals, car dealerships, all of that.
I have a Volvo.
Yeah.
Got that from the Bumblebee review, or the Transformers Rise of the Beast.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Twilight, because he drives a Volvo in Twilight.
Did I forget this? Did the Transformer in Rise of the Beast, was he not?
He could change into other things.
Here's the thing. I said in the last episode in our Beach special, I said he was a Volvo, but I actually I don't know anything about cars. So I could have been entirely wrong. So I'm glad I was right.
I'm pretty sure he was. I think they say he's a Volvo.
Car guy.
Yeah, we're not, because cars aren't nerdy. Cars are for not nerds.
Tough guys.
Tough guy.
Cool guys.
Big
That get babes.
Big beefers.
Yeah. That ain't us. So I just want to say a little thank you to everybody who's been listening to us thus far with like not great audio quality.
Yeah, it's been very underground production.
But from this point forward, we're only getting better.
Yeah. And you're gonna we only have anywhere to go but up.
We're gonna look back on this episode and be like, this was shit. These were shitty quality sounding episodes someday. But for right now, I think they're gonna be the best that we've ever had.
Once those brand deals come through, it'll just be like nothing. Our YouTube channel is gonna pick up steam.
YouTube channel. Oh man, I just spent a whole bunch of work this week getting the YouTube channel started.
Yeah, say a bit about our YouTube channel. What do we plan on putting on there?
So the YouTube channel, it's officially titled Nerd Shit Entertainment.
Oh.
Yeah, yep. At Nerd Shit, all one word, because YouTube wouldn't let me, I guess, have shit in the name. Like, I tried to do it, and it's like, no. So I made...
Because YouTube is for kids.
I guess so. Yeah. Well, I have a lot of sections clicked off that say not for kids on ours, but it's called Nerd Shit Entertainment, and what we plan to put on there, I think that's a good space for... I'll put podcast episodes up on that. I also want to put... I'll be hosting Chase Creepx Kitchen. I put a couple episodes of that already up on there.
Nice.
So that's where I'm going to put some...
Maybe when we start our streams.
Our streams will probably be on there. I really want to branch out, and just put whatever we can.
Really become a nerd shit media conglomerate.
That's why I went with entertainment. And Peyton from the Star Wars episode made our new logo for the show, which I think looks fucking awesome.
It's real sweet.
So pumped about that. Yeah. I made a banner for the YouTube page. I spent a lot of work doing side shit on this thing this week. So really hoping we get somewhere with it. It's
going to pay off. I think as the production quality grows, our audience will grow with it.
I think so too.
Like our audience has already increased significantly. Yeah.
Significantly.
Literally like 1,000% since when we began.
Yeah. It went from one guy to I don't even know if he's even listened to the past 3, but people have.
If you see the graph of our viewership, it's just straight line up.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I think that's what inspired me to really just get the new mic, start working on all this stuff. I don't know. I might make an Instagram page. I'm trying to share the podcast wherever I can.
Yeah, we might have merch. We don't know.
Merch coming. So all excited.
Just keep an eye out in the nerd shit world, shitters.
This little hobby has gone to the next level.
Yep.
And it's only going to get better. So thank you for...
The goal is to make this our day job, to become popular enough that we can subsist off of this and we no longer have to slave ourselves away to the man. We can work ourselves.
Yeah. Getting us down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd rather do that.
Yeah.
I mean, just getting these mics to work was it was stressful, but it felt like work. I felt like Tony Stark when he was trying to come up with time travel.
He's trying to figure out the time travel thing.
I just couldn't, I couldn't put it down.
Did you eventually just fix it?
I did.
You just figured it out?
I just solved it, yeah.
Yeah, it was it was a problem and then it wasn't.
And it was actually super easy.
Yeah.
So that was...
inconvenient.
Yeah, yeah. So that's fun. All right, cool. So, yeah, we'll follow up on this by the time the podcast ends, but let's just get going. We got a lot to talk about. Braden has a lot of shit to share with everybody today.
I do
a couple things, and
I do indeed. So what do you want me to start with first? I'm assuming we're starting into new nerd shit.
yeah, we'll start with new nerd.
Okay. Do you want me to start with video games or movies?
I don't
Pick
doesn't
one.
matter.
Pick one.
Video games, because mine's a video game. So
Okay.
let's do video games first.
So, few video games that I've been playing recently. I recently just got Dwarf Fortress.
Dwarf Fortress.
Like Gimli.
Okay.
And it sounds exactly like what it is. It's one of those strategy games that I like that you don't really like, where it's it's 2D.
I love that you like them.
Yeah, 2D over the top. And it's just like a manager game where you build like your dwarf fortress and you have your little guys and you have to grow them and you have to dig further and further underground and like create, crafts.
Till you dig too far.
Till you dig too far. I haven't gotten that far yet, but I don't know. But they say that there's like special events in the game of stuff like that happening. I don't know if the Balrog specifically comes, but I haven't seen it. But it's pretty fun. If you are an enjoyer of strategy games, it's very like meticulous setting up your pathways and resource management and stuff. And like I know some people really love those kinds of games.
Yes. I mean, there's a huge calling for those kind of games.
Yeah. Random events and stuff. Very replayable, very fun. I don't have much to say about Dwarf Fortress because I really just recently started getting
When
it
did you start playing it?
a couple days ago. So
Just a couple days ago?
just a couple days ago.
Okay.
So I'm not super far into it. But it's pretty fun so far. I can see myself getting very addicted to it because it is one of those games that can just go on forever if you want and you can just get really big.
What are you playing it on?
PC.
PC.
Yeah, it's Steam. It's a Steam game.
Steam game. I wasn't sure. Some of the, I feel like strategy, like the kind of strategy games like that, from what I'm getting off of, do really well on, your phone. I feel like that, phone games are like that. So I wasn't sure if it would be I think that's where I could play the most is on my phone.
Right. You would play this game if it was on your phone. It might be on I don't know.
Yeah.
You'd have to check it out, but it is on Steam.
I won't.
If you're an enjoyer of
'Cause I'm not.
strategy games, I give that one a hearty thumbs up.
Okay.
The old Brad Neal thumbs up. And that's really all I have to say about Dwarf Fortress. It's just pretty fun. I have to get more into it.
The title kind of sounds like one of those things that I've seen on ads for on the sides or on other
Right
games,
at.
maybe.
It's pretty popular.
Or Fortress.
Pretty popular game.
Dwarf. There's something there, but I don't have it.
Right. You'll think of it later.
I should think of it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's my first one.
Okay.
My second one is, are you familiar at all with the Dishonored games?
Dishonored. Which one's Dishonored? It sounds familiar.
Probably heard of it or seen
Yeah.
it before.
I know Nas and the guys play games maybe like that. Dishonored.
Yeah.
Let me Google it real quick.
All right.
Talk about it, but I'll figure it out.
Dishonored is a stealth / first-person shooter combat game where you can play through, and there's levels that you play through, and there's a story and everything, and the graphics are pretty nice. But you play through certain levels, and there's a bunch of different ways that you can go through the levels. You can choose to either stealth your way through it or just murder everyone in your sight. Your main character has magical powers given to him by this god thing that exists in this outside realm that he likes to give powers to people that he finds interesting to see what they do with them. And there's a whole plot of you're involved with the royal family and the empress is assassinated and you're framed for it and thrown in prison. And
Just like the movie we saw today, just getting framed for murders he didn't commit.
exactly like the movie. Yeah. And you've obviously escaped prison and you have to exact your revenge and you have to exact your revenge and you can do that in multiple different ways. You can choose to just, like I said, murder everyone, which if you go down that route, it changes the ending and the gameplay a little bit because
Now that I've looked into it, I recognize the box. Is this Dishonored 1 you're talking about?
I'm talking currently about Dishonored 1, but the game I
thought
actually...
this was Dishonored 2.
So that's what I actually want to talk about, 'cause that's what I've been playing.
Okay.
I just wanted to remind people of what Dishonored 1 was, because I'm talking about the sequel.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dishonored 2 is...
You know more than I do.
So far, a very good game. Very, very similar to the first game. It continues the story 15 years after the events of the first game ends.
So you played the first one, though?
Yes,
Okay.
I played the first one many times. It's very...
Oh, this is a big game in your life.
Yes, it's
Okay.
very replayable. Like I've done a whole stealth playthrough where I didn't kill anyone and was never detected, and then I've done like a whole murder playthrough where you just find creative ways to kill people. And like some of the magical powers are like really fun to use in combat. Like you can possess people and like use that as stealth to like you can possess people or animals and like get around places like that and then surprise people. You can stop or slow time for a few seconds and mess people up like that. And then you can like combine the powers together. Like one of the favorites combinations that people do, which they showed this in the trailer, was you can stop time right as someone shoots a bullet at you, and like the bullet is like frozen in the air, and then you can like possess the person who shot the bullet and have him walk in front of the bullet while time is still stopped, and then make time go again, and like he hits himself with his own bullet and dies. There's a lot of different creative ways that you can get through that. The only thing with that is that games like that, like if you do the chaotic playthrough of murdering a bunch of people on your way through the levels, it like gives you the bad ending because it's like you're supposed to be
one of those kind of games.
which I hate because like I'm a sucker for I need to get the good ending. Like I hate when like they say that you did like an evil thing, but like doing the evil stuff is so much more fun because the combat is so fun to use, and you can just...
You're big into that. You're a little like your twin brother in that way. A little of that of his evilness bleeds into you in certain ways.
No,
Because you like the chaotic gameplay, not so much the story.
yes,
Because you did that with Harry Potter.
yes,
Yeah.
I do like the chaotic gameplay,
But you like the good.
but I like the good ending, and like in any game,
You're like Kylo Ren.
in any game where there's like a karma system, I always am the good guy. Mass Effect, I can never do the Renegade playthrough. I always do the Paragon playthrough because I don't like to make my friends sad when you're the Renegade. And like Fallout, I always do the good choices because I don't like being a dick to people who are already in an irradiated wasteland. And so this is the same way where Dishonored 2 follows the same karma system, which I was kind of hoping it didn't because I kind of just didn't want to have to worry about it and just have fun killing people. But like I went through the first level and killed like everyone, and then like after the first level you get your powers again, and the guy's like, "Oh, I see you're already murdering a bunch of people, and a good man has already turned to bloodlust." I'm like, God damn it! Like they're already gonna be like, "Oh, you suck."
To you.
Yeah, you suck now. You suck for killing all these bad guys who are starting coups and murdering people all the time.
It's like that Persona game I was talking about.
Yeah.
I was like, I saved a soon-to-be raped, and everybody thought I was a dick.
Yeah, it's just like you can't win. And so I had to restart and go back, and I'm doing like the good playthrough, the nice playthrough, which that is fun on its own because when you are forced to stealth your way through it, it makes it harder, but also opens up a lot more of the game that you probably would have missed if you just murdered your way through everything, because you had to, find creative ways to get past guards and to not be detected. So you end up finding secret rooms and doing all that kind of stuff. And there's, it's one of those games where like, if you're a hardcore completionist, like there's a bunch of items throughout the level that you can find and make money and all that shit. And you can progressively upgrade your powers to do more shit for you. But Dishonored 2 is very fun, very, very similar to the first game, although I love the first game, and so I'm totally fine with that. But yeah, and the biggest option with Dishonored 2, I guess that's where there's a big difference, is that it gives you the option to play as the main character from the first game, Corvo, who's like the Lord Protector of the Queen. And this time, you also have the option of playing as Emily, who is, spoiler alert, his daughter, from the because she's a part of the first game, but she's just like a little kid in the first game. And she's Empress.
She said 15 years later.
Yeah, this is 15 years later, so she's grown up. He taught her everything that he knew, and she's like Empress now. And so you can choose to play as her, and she gets the powers this time instead. But I didn't play as her. I played as Corvo because
you're a guy.
I'm a guy, and I liked him better. And it's also another big difference is that he actually has a voice actor for this game, which I initially
Did he not have one in the
No, he was a silent protagonist in the first game, which I kind of liked because your whole deal is like you're a shadowy assassin that like people are scared of. You have this like cool mechanical mask that like scares
I
people.
looked up the box art and stuff.
Yeah, like you wear that mask every time you go to murder people or not murder people, knock them out, I guess. But yeah, so I
PG-13.
kind of like the silent protagonist, but they did give him a voice actor, and he is like, I like him. He's a good voice actor. It's just odd because he's like very chatty.
It's a lot now.
Very chatty. He narrates the whole thing.
Did you like that?
Initially, no, but I like it now.
Okay.
It's a good voice actor, and I am interested to see. You also never saw his face in the first game.
Now you see his face.
You see his face in this game.
Like in Halo, the show, where it's just, I saw everything except Master Chief's fucking dick.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Yeah. So it took the mystery away from him a little bit, which kind of sucked, but he's still cool enough that it doesn't really matter to me. But yeah, so far I'm having a great time. I'm slowly playing through the second level, which again, it is like the stealth playthrough is fun because it does force you to slow down and try and find new ways through the level. And then you end up discovering there's a bunch of secrets and like things that you can find in every level that you normally wouldn't if you just murdered your way through. Because once you get like some of your main powers, you can just massacre everyone. Yeah. And it's fun.
Could you go back through a place to find all those secrets if you don't sneak? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it open worldy?
It is. It's it's levels.
Sure, yeah.
The levels is
explore them.
Yeah, whenever you're in the level, you have free roam to like do whatever you. It tries to give you as many choices as possible. And like, say you have to get past like a barrier or something, there will be like 5 or 6 different pathways you can take that you have to discover to get past it. There's all kinds of creative ways.
God, I'd get so lost. Just anymore. I always have to fucking go every corner and.
Yeah, but like. Causing you to slow down, it does give you hints of like how to do things and where to go. Yeah, that's my game. Those are my games.
Those are your 2 games?
The ones that I can think. I think there is one more, but it's escaping me right now. But if I remember it, I'll come back to it.
Yeah, I mean, I can start on mine, and then that gives you time to think. You can throw that baton this way, big guy. Big tits. Thank you. Yeah, so as everybody knows who's been listening to the show, and if you haven't been listening to the show, I got kind of stuck with Zelda fever there for a hot chunk, probably 5 weeks roughly.
Yeah, it was a while.
I've got myself through it. I'm rehabilitated. I went through the steps.
I've been seeing a bunch of Zelda memes now about like the funny creations people come up with in there.
Dude, I don't even know how they do it, honestly. It's bombastic.
One was like, why would I walk to Hyrule Castle in 10 minutes when I could build the worst car engineering has ever seen and get there in 45 minutes?
It's like, it goes from like people having the worst looking shit to like they've made like a Gundam and they fucking fly somewhere, and I'm just like, how the bloody fuck did they do that?
Or just they have that mind.
Great game, but I did need to get away from it.
Yeah. It was cutting into your new nerd shit time.
It kind of was, and I started I took like I said, I was going through the steps, like with a smoker, you don't just cold turkey smoke. So I started playing a little bit of Skyward Sword, and then I was playing a little bit of Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo thing. So I was playing other Zelda games. I stopped playing that one. I just played like other ones while I was going through, and finally I landed on a game that wasn't Zelda based, and I've been having a really good time with it.
And what game is that?
It is the newest Final Fantasy video game, Final Fantasy 16. And let me tell you, I have been having fantastic time with this game.
I have always wanted to like Final Fantasy games because my friend Haley Hartman, you've met her before, I'm pretty sure, a while back.
Was she your going away party?
Yes. Redhead.
Yeah.
She really likes the Final Fantasy games, and she would play Final Fantasy 7 all the time when we were kids. When I was over at her house, I would watch her play Final Fantasy 7, and she was good at it. I was not, and I'm just not good at those kinds of games. I loved watching her play, get into it, but I sucked at them.
Well, here's the funny thing about Final Fantasy, because I was gonna go into this when it comes to this game, because it's something that certainly needs to be said. But I would say since Final Fantasy X, because 11 is an MMO, it's not exactly on the same. 11 and 14 for some reason are MMORPGs, where the other ones are all like story based and their own. Final Fantasy works as none of them are connected; they're all their own separate stories.
Yeah.
After 10 though, like 13 started this trend where no, even 12 I'd say 12 started it, and then they've just kind of kept going with it where they all started play. Not only were their stories different, but like they play differently.
Yeah.
Like the RPG, the way 12 is played is very different than like turn-based every other game. So, and then 13 did this other thing. 15 came out and it kind of had a more of a, I would say closer to a Kingdom Hearts type of, you know what I mean? It's not turn-based anymore. You controlled multiple characters, but you played one guy, like a Devil May Cry. And I'd say 16 went into that even farther. Like they've gone from those turn-based RPGs to now they're like an action RPG, and they kind of did that in a very slow, step-by-step sort of way. And a lot of Final Fantasy fans, because it kind of splits a room, because like purists, they want to play the way it was before. They like the turn-based, you know, way of playing those games. And I don't blame them. I'm not a big turn-based type of game player.
Me neither.
The ones I like a lot.
Pokemon, I like Pokemon. Yeah. That's about the only turn-based game I can get into.
Because I also had the same trouble with Final Fantasy through my life, where like I was such a fan of the concept and everything, but I never finished most of their games because like
they're very long and hard.
I don't want to play them like that.
Yeah. Very grindy.
13 was the first one I beat. I never finished 15, even though I really enjoy it, and it became less of a turn-based and more of an action RPG. 16 though, I mean, I am playing the fuck out of this game, man. I'm gonna finish
What's the basic premise of 16?
So the premise of 16,
they're all different, right?
They are all different, and the cool thing is, because in 15 it got like this weird like steampunk, still a royal family, like they had like cars and shit, you know?
Yeah.
And it was a cool vibe. They kind of took it back though for this one to a more of like Knights of the Round. It's very Game of Thrones. It's very the plot is very Game of Thrones, but it's very Westeros vibe, and I really like that. And the characters are fucking really cool. At least the main ones. Like there's a guy that I think is one of like my top 10 favorite fictional characters of all time that you get introduced to pretty early on in this game.
That's pretty big. Top 10.
It is pretty
fictional characters.
He's so
higher than Mario.
I mean, well, that's different. I don't see Mario.
Fictional character.
I don't see
fictional characters is a big camp.
I know, dude. I know what I'm saying, and I stand by it because I really like this guy. Really quick, yeah. Full torque. Immediately. Not immediately. At first I didn't know how to feel about him.
It was like
character doesn't know.
You're like quarter torque for a little bit. You were kind of interested.
I was like, he at least is, attractive.
Oh, he full torque in that route. Really, in that way.
But that's it. Like, I was like, I don't know if I can trust this guy though.
Right.
But once you get to know him, I mean, see,
I love that.
The main character. That's what kind of sucks. The main character, I don't feel this way.
See, like a bad boy, kind of. I love those characters where they're like, it's kind of a bad boy. I don't know if I can trust them, but like they're so charming, I'm gonna give them a chance, and then they end up being good.
You find out that he's actually like a really great guy.
Yeah.
And I mean a bad boy in a way of like they're literally like your group of people that you're with are considered like like the bad, like not the bad guys, but what am I? They're like not thieves,
rogues,
not like
bandits,
not bandits. You're against like the royalty. You're like a terrorist, I guess.
Rebels.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. I'll think of it. But he's just cool, and he's like the leader of that group, and he helps your character out a lot. And I mean, he's a cool character.
It kind of reminds me of a character. I told you how I played Horizon Zero Dawn.
You did
recently. I talked about that in one of our previous episodes. There's a character in there who's just like that, where he's like. He has all the hallmarks of like, this is going to be a bad guy. Like, this is going to be a future antagonist. He's like sweet and charming right now, but like just the look, he had like a mohawk and like earrings, and he just like had a smooth way of talking, but he kind of looked threatening.
Okay.
But he ends up being a great guy, and like,
that's good.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that like it doesn't try and like do the shitty twist of be like they actually suck.
Yeah.
Like, no, they're actually
sometimes
good.
That twist is cool, but sometimes it hurts more than it helps.
Yeah, and especially because that character is working for. There's like this is all Horizon Zero Dawn lore. It's not very important, but he's working for the clan that was like the bad clan before they like had a change in leadership and became better. And you're like, initially at the beginning of the game, you're like, they're not actually better. Like, they're going to do a heel turn. But no, they actually are. Like,
Great guy.
they're actually better now. Yeah. So, yeah, that's awesome.
I'd say this character you don't think is like evil at any point. You're just not sure, like, you can fully trust him. But, yeah. So, like, the characters are really cool. But the story itself is so really interesting. Like, it tied me in rather quick. And, oh, my God, it's a bonkers gorgeous game. That's another, like, the first night I played this game, I literally thought to myself, oh, this is a game that was made for PS5 with all the power that PS5 can do with video games. Right. Like, there's a point where you
feel like most Final Fantasy games are made that way.
Yeah, but this one really showed me, like, okay, we're in the new generation of games, because there's this point at the very beginning of the game, your character's like running through this like war that's taking place, and like,
yeah, I love wars.
There's certain beings, they're kind of like the tailed beasts in Naruto, that they're granted, like, they're called the dominants, and they're granted like the blessings of their gods, and so, thus they can kind of become like those gods. So your character's running through this battle between these nations that have sent out their fucking monsters.
Yeah.
And you're running through this like place that's getting destroyed by this battle, and in the background you're just seeing this like kaiju, beautifully graphic battle just taking place.
That'd be really cool.
It was so cool. That's the thing. The game's visuals blow me away. Boss fights are so fucking awesome visually, challengingly. Like I said, it plays more like a Kingdom Hearts Devil May Cry type of thing. So you're in charge of kind of like getting out of the way, slashing at the bad guys. So fucking awesome. I mean, gorgeous. And like I said, the storyline is interesting because your character goes back to when you're younger, and like your brother got chosen as the dominant, like your younger brother, so you just got like a blessing which lets you use like abilities, but you can't become the monster.
Oh man.
Yeah, so your mom fucking hates you. Like she hates you for being like the older and shittier kid, and you get this very like I said, Game of Thrones, how they treated Jon Snow.
Yeah.
And all this crazy shit happens. A second dominant of fire appears and like kills your brother.
Wow. There's two dominant fires.
That's the whole premise at the beginning of the game, because the guy's like, I have to. Why is there a second dominant of fire? And you find out a lot of shit along that story, because then it cuts to what's going on now, and like that.
So they're based off of like elements.
Mm-hmm. And the magic system's really cool in this game, where like you don't have mana like you did in a lot. Like you only like a limited amount of magic.
That the illness, mono, the kissing disease.
Mana?
Mana.
No, you don't have mono or mana.
Oh, you pronounce it mana.
Yeah.
I've always said mana.
Well, it's manga, not manga, so mana, not man.
I don't know. I just always said mana. It sounded right to me.
I mean, I'm sure it's still fine.
That's why I thought you said mono, because I was like, what word is that?
Mano, man, you're wrong.
Because you said it like I knew what it was. And I do. I know what mana is.
You know what mana is. That's for sure. I'm basing mine not of how I've read it, but how I've heard it. So I'm going to say mana.
Well, you've heard it different now.
I mean, I've heard it wrong. So, like I said, there's no mana, but you still can use magic, and like it combines with your attacks and gives you special powers. And the way you get that magic, I'm not going to spoil anything, super fucking dope. And yeah, it's cool. I've fallen quite head over heels in Final Fantasy, and it got me away from Zelda, which isn't a bad thing. But I give Final Fantasy 16 4.5 out of 5 stars.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Beautiful. It's like I said, it might not work for Final Fantasy purists. It works. The gameplay works for me.
Oh, go ahead. My
only gripe is dialogue scenes. Not cutscenes. Cutscenes are fucking long. Don't get me wrong. It's a JRPG, so there.
Can you skip them? Are they skippable cutscenes?
Some are.
That was one of my biggest furies with some of the Final Fantasy games, is that you would there'd be a cutscene right before a boss fight, and then you'd lose the boss fight, and then it'd make you sit through the whole cutscene again.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 1 did that too. And that's simple. They kind of skip those on their own. If you die during a boss fight, you don't have to go watch the previous cutscene. Like it doesn't even play again. It just puts you right back in the fight.
Good. That's an improvement.
But like I said, cutscenes can be fucking long as fuck. And just like, so what used to be like in older RPGs, when it wasn't the cutscenes, you'd go to talk to characters and it would just be their text. They wouldn't make the voice actors talk to you. you just read their text. That doesn't happen anymore. So all that kind of interaction is voiced, and you can skip that, but like you feel bad almost because it's like a cutscene. But they talk. When they talk, they always talk so very slow as they give you in subtitles there. So you see how long they're gonna be talking, and they're talking so very slow about all this detailed shit. It's just like, oh my fucking god!
Skip.
I just do the side quest to go fucking pick mushrooms. God damn you! So that can be really and the cutscenes are long. Like, I was in the middle of this boss fight just before dinner the other night, and I knew I was late. I was supposed to start cooking, and I had beat the boss fight, but the cutscene went on for literally 15 minutes. I was like, I have to save because I don't want to do that boss fight again.
You're watching a movie.
But I was like, can I fucking go? And so that's my only gripe is like JRPGs, they just load those things up with cutscenes wherever they can. So that can be tough because you want to play a game.
Yeah, you don't want to watch a movie.
I used to be big like cutscene guy, and I still love cutscenes. But the gameplay is so fun. I want to go fucking kill some monsters.
I have lost my patience as I've gotten older with dialogue and cutscenes in games, which sucks because I miss important things sometimes when I skip through it, but I just can't sit through them sometimes. Sometimes it's so long. You just want to get back to playing the game.
Totally. All the time. So that's my only gripe. I got 2 gripes, and then I'm done, actually. I got another gripe. My other gripe is, like, the game... I think it's good for a lot of people, because Final Fantasy games are hard, and I think that hardness kind of deters people away. This one...
Fully torqued.
Fully torqued. I'm saying it fully torqued right now. Yeah. I do think that can suck sometimes. This game kind of got rid of that in ways that, like, I have probably only died in this game, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through it, 3 times.
Oh, yeah. That's way... I'll die 3 times within the first hour of any Final Fantasy game I'll play.
Like I said, most of them are like... So not only is it a little bit easy, but, like, boss fights... Like, one of my biggest memories when it comes to Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy 13. I was locked in a boss fight for what went on for 45 minutes. 45 minutes of my life. 15 shy of an hour. Yeah. Keep up.
Keep it up, yeah. I did the math in my head.
I died. And man, nothing hurts more than when you know you have to start that fight over. And I just turned the Xbox off.
That's where it can
and I had to walk away.
Really bring out the gaming rage. It's like, wow, all that time of my life right now was just completely futile. A futile endeavor.
I mean, that's a turn off the console, come back to it later, if ever, kind of moment.
Yeah. And I think that's why I never got into Final Fantasy games, because I would get those moments so much. And, like, I hate being an angry gamer. I hate when games make me angry.
Kind of like when they make me. That's weird.
It can make me... Final Fantasy games can make me angry.
And that's where this kind of gets for me, though, because, like, though that sucks, it is part of Final Fantasy. You know what I mean? It
wouldn't be Final Fantasy if they weren't hard.
Right. So I'm here to say... they are challenging fights for sure. They are challenging. But say you die in the middle of a fight. If you got that boss's health down to a certain amount, it'll give you a chance to at least start from there.
Oh, that's...
And it also gives you all your potions and high potions back entirely.
Oh, yeah. So it definitely nerfed itself.
That's why I try everything I can not to die, because, like, I kind of don't want it like that.
Yeah, you feel like it's kind of babying you a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah. So, like, that's like...
There you go, champ. We know you can't do it.
Yeah. And literally at the beginning of the game, I didn't even know this. They, like, kind of gave you this kind of save steer method. I played the first, like, hour of this game with this save steer type of thing. They give you these items that, like, basically play the fucking game for you. Like, the whole beginning of the game, I was, like, fucking insanely good. Like, dodge, like, 'cause there's this ring that was, like, any attack that is capable of being dodged, your character will dodge it. Or, like, your character will use the special move any chance he can get just by pressing square. So I'm sitting there thinking, like, I must be doing everything. Only to find out that I'd been playing the game like that for an hour. I was like, get these off of me.
You've been playing the, like, 9-year-old settings.
Right. So that was annoying that was even a thing. And then, like, I turned those off and it made the game. It took me a second to kind of get it back, but then even better for it. But I will say, when you lose against a boss and it takes you... Like, if it would have took me back the whole way, that would fucking suck. But there's something about, like, oh, you got his health at least here. And also, here's all your healing shit back, too.
Right. feels bad.
It does feel bad. So 3 times, and like each of those times are like times that like, oh, I would have rather you just killed me and made me start over because
Right. Now I feel like not a good gamer.
right. And there's no way to turn that off.
Which is it's funny because I can't get into Final Fantasy games like the turn-based ones because they're too hard and I suck at them. But one of my biggest gripes with the one turn-based game I do love with Pokemon is that it's too easy.
Sure.
That I think Pokemon could be harder
Yeah.
because like with Violet, I zoomed through it. Like I don't even think there's maybe 2 times where I had to not use my starter Pokemon to just wreck the entire opponent's team. Because I would just...
Yeah, I remember you said yours was at like level 98 or something like...
Yeah, it was just... And it,
fast.
yeah, and it just like destroyed... Just boop, 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 down the line, just...
I think you said when you were the Elite Four it was like 80 something. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah, I zoomed through the Elite Four. I zoomed through first time. And I was like, oh, that's good, but I feel like it was a little...
Yeah.
Too easy.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Elite Four I should have died a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree.
And I didn't. Fucking Quaxaquaddle just dance kicked his way all through the Elite Four. Quaxaquaddle.
Quaxaquaddle.
They needed to give him a better name.
They did. They did. I think I could recommend some other Final Fantasies that might fill you with like you could probably like those ones.
Yeah.
I think 16 you'd really like because it's still hard, even though it has those moments. It's not like Pokemon. Right. And definitely don't use those fucking rings that make you just play the game for you, and then it's fun enough. If you ever get a PS5, I'd recommend it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, did you think of your other new nerd shit?
No, but I did remember one new nerd. This is actually old nerd shit.
Oh, wow.
That we talked about in the previous episode. But you remember the forest?
Okay,
I talked about you. Me and Dylan beat it.
Oh, you beat it?
We beat it. Yeah.
Oh, did you get Timmy back?
Oh, we sure did.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, spoiler alert, he's still alive.
That's good.
Yeah.
I was worried about him.
I won't spoil like the rest of the ending because it is like a big twist, big twist ending.
I have to get on it.
Yeah. We want to do another playthrough because it is genuinely a fun game to just like fuck around at your base and craft and wreck people. But like we had to finish the game because how I said like every night that passes it gets a little bit harder.
Yes.
They send like more enemies after you.
Scary thing.
Yeah. Like by the end of it, we had pretty much an entire fortress set up. Like we had a whole line of defense, barricades, traps all set up. So like they were just running into our traps and getting fucked. But we had to like still go out and explore and find other shit. And we knew we had to like finish the game soon because at one point the enemies get smarter too, by the way. Like they wait for you to like separate the wood folk. They wait for you to like separate and stuff. We're like, he was off doing something else. We were outside of our base. It was the daytime. And I'm just like crafting, like setting up a little out forward base that we had so we could like get some food and shit. And I could just get jumped by 9 guys.
Oh my God.
Literally 9 of them just come out and just attack me all at once. And I tried to fight them off with all my stuff and they fucking kill me.
Oh my God.
And we eventually get away from them, but like they did the same thing with Dylan where they jumped him then.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and so like we managed to fight them off, but like
trying to get some berries.
Yeah, but like we just barely fought them off. And like that was an attack during the daytime, which is when they're usually not as strong.
Yeah.
And so he said like, we got to finish this soon because we were close. He knew more about the story than I did. He's like, we're close to like we could finish it if we wanted to. So we did. And we had to get to the final boss fight. There is a final boss. And like we like crafted all of our bombs and shit and like had all of our gear ready. And the final boss fight was really hard. But we actually didn't die once. We used up all of our bombs, all of our arrows, and like both of us we lost all of our health stuff, like our medicine and stuff to heal ourselves. Mm-hmm. It was like right down to the ringer, and like this thing was showing no signs of slowing down because there's no health bars or anything on the enemy. You don't know how close they are to death.
You just hope to God they die soon.
Yeah, and at one point you get a samurai sword. Like you can find a samurai sword, and so I just Like, it's going after Dylan. Dylan threw his last...
That a samurai sword
Yeah.
in the middle of the woods.
It's in a cave, actually, but
Nice.
katana, I guess. But it's Dylan threw his last bomb. He's on like his last bit of health, and it's going after him. And I just pull out my katana and I run straight at it, kamikaze charge, and do like 3 like katana swipes and like kill it. Because it was like pretty low on health, and it felt so cool because this thing has like
The finishing blow.
yeah, not like big spoilers, but it has like arms and shit that can like reach out. And the way it dies is like its arms get all sliced off. And I was like, oh, that's like a cool... That with my samurai sword, or I just like kamikaze like and just like ended it. But it was an epic boss battle, and it was really fun. Big twist ending. Highly recommend you play it with us sometime because we want to restart the game and go through it again. Because with the game...
I would like to play it, yeah.
Yeah, because with the session that we were on, you probably couldn't have joined in because we had already found a bunch of like the items and weapons and stuff in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And if you started with us, you wouldn't have had any of that. So we would have had to go back to where we all traveled before.
You guys want to give me one of yours?
We can't. It's ours forever.
Not even if I look at you like this.
No, the game wouldn't let us.
Fuck that game.
Yeah.
That was a cute look.
We would like to start a new game because it's, it's different every time. And it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be down.
So so that's all I had to say about the Forest, just to finish that. We beat it. It was fun.
I love a good follow-up.
Yeah. But what I really have been itching to talk about is the movies that I've watched. First off, Avatar: The Way of Water.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know this was coming.
Yeah.
All right.
I've been really wanting to talk about this movie.
I had a vague talk of this on one of our earlier
You
episodes
did.
when I saw it, but
I just wanted to give my thoughts on it.
give them to me.
For one, it is...
Give it to me, Brayden.
You're right that it is the exact same movie, but in water.
110%.
It's just...
It is the same fucking... James Cameron made us wait 13 years. I like this movie, by the way. He made us wait 13 years to give us the same fucking movie.
I liked it too.
Water.
I liked it too. I will say I think I enjoyed it more than the first one.
I like it more than the first one. It's a better version. It's the same movie, but it's the version of the
first one.
two, yeah.
One, I think it's because Jake Sully does not carry the entire movie on his back.
Look how he said that, like he's one of them.
Yeah.
Sully.
Jake Sully. Tuluk Baktao. No shade on the actor. I don't forget the actor's name, Sam Worthington or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something.
I just don't think he's like the best leading man to where I don't find him super interesting.
I don't think that movie did either.
Yeah. And initially,
Let's give him some kids that are cool.
they introduce his
Classic anime.
kid characters, which initially I thought like, oh, these are gonna suck because kid characters usually suck. But like halfway through the movie,
I like the kid character.
the kid characters carry like half the movie where it just follows their story.
Their fucking movie.
Yeah, pretty much. And like, I actually ended up liking them all by the end of it.
Yeah. By the end of it.
Yeah.
And movie.
Yeah, because they do enough to give them personalities. Any spoilers for Way of Water? But I kept thinking like, they probably could have combined the 2 older son characters into the same character because the one...
Well, they had to kill one.
Yeah, that's where it made sense to me afterwards. I'm like, oh, okay, that's why they didn't really give him a character arc or give him much to do because he's the one that has to die to motivate them at the end.
Does have a character arc.
Right, to motivate the one who does have a character arc, which is a pretty good character arc that they give. He's like the middle son. The oldest son dies.
Yeah.
And then there's
Middle child, I guess.
Yeah, then there's the middle female child who is not their child.
Right, it's the child of the other.
It is the child of Sigourney Weaver's Avatar that was either necrophilia raped because the Avatar's dead and got pregnant somehow. And they don't explain it in the movie at all. They're just like, somehow she got pregnant and was born. And everyone was like, what the hell?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's some immaculate conception going on with her, for sure.
It hints to it's like an immaculate, pretty much like Awa impregnates are still weird.
Seems interesting. Want to know more about it?
Yeah, it's very
Can't really tell you.
No, which they have 3 more movies to tell you about.
Yeah, I think 3 more movies.
Yeah, in 2040, we'll figure it out finally.
High school when the first one came out.
Yeah, but she has like Sigourney Weaver's hair and stuff, and she has like this special connection to Awa, and like, you know, she's cool. She has her own thing.
She definitely has her own thing.
And there's like a little girl child, which like she's just, I mean, she's a little girl. Like she, you know, she's feisty sometimes, but other times she's like the damsel in distress that they have to rescue. But yeah, so like the whole premise of Way of Water is like, and this is where it's also the same exact movie. They resurrect the villain from the first movie, where it's a big retcon where Yeah,
that should be his name. It's Retcon.
That's right. Because he's the general character, the colonel character from the first movie, the human who dies. Apparently, he had like a mind upload, they uploaded his mind into the cloud or something, and kept a file of it and uploaded it into an avatar body. So he comes back as an avatar, and he looks pretty good, I will say. He's a pretty hot avatar.
No, fuck. For fuck's sake, man. Yeah.
As silly as it was that like they resurrected him and like all of his like villain soldier characters, they're all back too, by the way. They're all avatars now too.
Of course.
Yeah. I didn't mind it.
Why stop at one?
Yeah, I didn't mind it. Yeah, they already did it once. I didn't mind it later on in the movie because he is a good villain, I think. Like, he does play that role.
I don't know who else the bad guy would be.
Right, like
if they were going to make the same movie twice, well, they had to get.
And it's, I mean, and again, spoilers. It's looking like he is going to be the main villain for the whole franchise.
It works once, it works twice. You might as well give it a third try.
Right.
But it looks like there might be a character arc for him coming as well.
They kind of had one.
Might not be the villain the whole time.
He had a small
one
character arc in this.
Sure, did.
Revolving.
Can only go up.
Revolving around his son, Spider, which that's another thing I want to comment on, is that so there's apparently it was never mentioned in the first movie, but he brought his baby son to Pandora. We never see him in the first movie, but he's there, and he gets left behind.
Whole retcon family.
It's like, because babies can't go into cryo sleep, so they couldn't send them back to Earth. Why he brought his baby
got there in the first place? Why
he brought his baby son to a war zone in the first place, I don't know. Because the wife isn't around. Maybe that's why. Because he's like a single dad.
Maybe.
You never see him with his son in the first movie. But he is just a baby. But he like grows up amongst the Na'vi and is like one of them, and he has to like wear a mask when he's outside. But he dresses like the Na'vi, full on loincloth, running around butt ass naked.
Yeah, he kind of looks like Donnie from the Wild Thornberrys.
Yeah, and like the entire time, I just wanted them to give him pants, because like he gets like captured by his father, his avatar father, and I was thinking like, oh, this is like their character arc where like he is like gonna be amongst humans or see what it's like to be amongst humans, and I thought that the dad was gonna like try and humanize him more, take the Na'vi out of him, but no, he's pretty accepting of his Na'vi culture and just lets it happen to the point where he still lets this boy just run around with his dick flopping out and his butt cheeks clapping everywhere.
Yeah,
in this loincloth, and I'm just like, please, just give him like underwear, just give him like shorts or something. It was so distracting in every scene where you just see parts of this teenage boy's butthole, not butthole, but like butt cheeks, just running around, and it was distracting me because I'm like, this is just strange. It's just odd. No one's commenting on it at all. He's just naked all the time.
Yeah, I didn't really think.
Yeah. And I will say Spider he was probably the weakest actor.
For certain, the weakest actor. Not a bad one, but not at the best of his ability.
There are times where I think he didn't really know what he was supposed to be reacting to, because like they're like doing like genocide and shit to these villages, and the entire time he's like chill with them, and then like all of a sudden when they do something bad, he's like, wait, no, but like really unconvincingly. And I'm like, yeah, you grew up amongst these people and you're just like very lukewarm about this like horrible genocide that they're causing. And he's like also helping them, like helping the bad guys. And then he gets like surprised when they do the exact, like, they don't hide it from him that they're there to fuck these people up at all. And he helps them. We must know now, to an extent, he does, end up helping the Na'vi in the end. And I will say the final battle is, I liked it a lot more than the final battle of the first movie, even though it was much smaller in scale.
I want to talk about the final battle.
Okay.
Because I don't think enough people talk about the final battle in this movie.
Really?
Like, not the way I see it. So the way I saw the final battle is, because it ends with like the Sully family fighting the army essentially, but out of nowhere, okay, so the movie before the battle takes place, all the water people have joined up with Jake Sully, and the whole water tribe they're all coming in. They're coming in hot for this battle.
Part?
No.
Oh, you don't remember that part when they're like ready to go to war and
yeah. Yeah, they're a little.
Now you know what that's from?
No.
It's supposed to be Maori.
Oh.
Because that Boba Fett's Maori.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they do like that. That's like their war face is like
okay.
I think that's the culture they're supposed to be based off of.
Okay. Interesting.
When I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's odd. That has to be taken from somewhere. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's Maori.
I guess I didn't know. Yeah.
Huh. I'm cultured, so.
Fuck it. Whatever. It's nerd shit culture.
National Geographic.
My issue is, even though it's like we're watching Na'vi National Geographics, it's not that. All the water people just
disappear.
They just completely disappear.
I'm like, where are they? Like,
they're just gone. So it could be the Jake Sully family versus the Marines. I'm just like, what the fuck happened to them? They don't explain it.
No, and
nobody was asking about this when the movie came out.
And it's not like a lot of them died, or like some of them died, but most of them are fine.
And he just stopped fighting. Even like the main
war chief guy,
and his wife just disappeared.
Just fuck off somewhere.
And their kids are like needing the rescuing too.
That was my thing too. It was just like, where is the war chief dad who was so pissed off that he led his people to war to get his daughter back?
Him and his whole fucking tribe fucked.
And they just fucked right off. Let the Sully family take care of it and save their daughter. Like, one of two kids that they have. Like, Sullys have 4, so they have spares. But
it's like they wanted to sully their hands with this issue.
Yeah.
Ooh. Zip. So that was like my big glowing plot hole. Not so much a plot hole, but just something that was like,
it was a plot hole. They never explained it. They never even show them leaving. It's just the
movie just distracts.
One thing they're there, and the next thing you're like, oh, where did all the Maori Na'vi go?
Maori.
But the tactics are fun. I think. I think their beasts are a lot cooler than the forest.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I also like that they're the forest people and the sea people. Really, you didn't have any more creative names. So that's how you.
Just something even in Na'vi.
That's how you boil it down. It's just that's where they live.
So James Cameron can't think of everything.
You got the point across. They live near the water. They live in the forest. They say that multiple times in the movie.
Part of kind of like them being racist with each other.
Yeah, that's what I thought the whole time. They are a little different from each other, biologically.
Yeah.
They have different tails and stuff.
They certainly are.
Yeah. But yeah, I still thought the final battle was better.
Everything they do, they do it better.
And speaking of resurrecting and retconning, how the main whaler guy who gets his arm sliced off.
Yeah.
I don't think he's dead.
Yeah.
I think he's coming back with a robot arm in the next movie, or a big whaling hook hand or something.
That would be
I don't
cool.
think the way that they killed that guy. I don't think I don't think he's dead.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd go. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Jermaine from Flight of the Conchords lives, so he's probably going to be in it next movie. The biologist who's just fine, but he was fine when he wasn't fine with him doing it, but he just went along with it anyway.
Yeah. He alive?
He didn't die.
Sure.
He almost dies because he's on the boat when that wire comes and rips the guy's arm off, but he ducks. You don't see him again after that. Another plot, you don't see him again afterwards. So he's going to be in the third movie.
Sweet. Which comes out in 2026. I think they just pushed it to.
I guess one of my criticisms, it's not really a criticism, it's just more of a personal preference, is that I don't like in battle scenes when you don't have a sense of numbers and
That's how they were able to get the fucking water people out of there.
Yeah,
they just tricked us.
Because it happens a few times in the movie. One of the biggest examples is in the beginning when his kids are initially captured in the forest with like the human Na'vi squad. And initially it looks like there's only like 6 of them. And then like the parents come and rescue them and they take out like a bunch of them. And then by the end, it's like, there's still like a dozen of them left. And you're just like, where did all these come from? Like, you didn't show them this many before. And that happens multiple times where it's just like, you don't really have a sense of like who is on, like how big are each side. And so it kind of just like, the deaths are cool and cinematic, but they're kind of meaningless because I don't know
who these people
are. Even when like they killed a bunch of like the whaling people at the end in the final battle and you think like most of them are dead, and it still shows like it's still like a few hundred guys left like by the end, like they have to go when all the Maori people fuck off. It's like still a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you can just like keep resurrecting people to have cinematic deaths, but it doesn't mean anything because it's just like a cool death. But like
at that point, it's just action for action.
Right. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't get a sense of progression in the battle at all. I don't know how many are left on each side.
In a movie that, like, it's so fucking long.
These movies, I think it's just James Cameron being overindulgent. They do not have to be over 3 hours long. You can condense a good bit of them or just cut a good bit of them out. That entire, like, last 45 minutes could have been 15 minutes. The entire beginning 45 minutes could have been 15 minutes. They could have cut things out, but it's just like they had to spend so long setting things up. And like when they're rescuing, like they have this big fight battle at the end with like Jake and the main bad guy. And Jake wins and it makes it seem like, oh, he killed the bad guy, but no, he didn't. And like, so that entire like 10-minute fight that they just had meant nothing essentially to the overall plot. It was just a cool fight scene because he's coming back for more.
For sure. In the lava world.
And one other thing, like
fire.
It was such like a 1-to-1 retelling of the first movie.
Sure was.
Had
to be that.
I was like pretty much 80% sure that big shark thing that we see in the beginning that attacks his son. I was 80% sure that the mother, I forget her name, Zoe Saldana's character,
right,
was gonna bond with that shark like she did with that Black Panther in the beginning, like the big dangerous thing, and use that to fight in the final battle. Like I was for sure that was gonna happen. I'm like, they're gonna bring that shark back and she's gonna get it because she gets all the cool mounts. But they didn't. They didn't go that far. The whales were cool.
But like the sun got to ride the whale that was like the rogue, just like Jake rode the bird that was like the rogue bird.
If that bird is gone, I mean, you didn't see him at all.
No, I don't think so. Yeah. I'm glad you finally got to see it. I did want to talk about it back when it came out, but like I was like the only one that saw the fucking thing. Not in the world because it made fucking a lot of money, but out of my friends.
Yeah, that was just a few. I just wanted to talk about the few points I had with that. The other movie I saw, which you have also seen, is Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah, how'd you like that?
I loved it.
Yeah,
I thought it was great.
I want to watch that one again.
Yeah, I would watch it again. I think if I had any criticisms of it, not really many.
What it was like, it's hard to even critique it. Like, it's very like
delivers what it
bones. Good Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yeah, it's very much like
funny.
Yeah,
it's got heart, got emotion, got action.
Right. I didn't care much for the action.
Doesn't have romance really. Don't need it.
Kind of, but like not.
Kind of, but not really. Kind of like a nice little romance, honestly.
Yeah.
Not in your face about it.
No, it's just like will they, won't they kind of. Right.
Mi familia.
Mi familia.
That was Spanish for the little Mario Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really have much to say about it. That's also been a little while since I've seen that, but like.
I think Chris Pine is perfect for that role.
Perfect for that role.
The bard.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was kind of hoping.
I love him and shit.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that he would get like, that he would have more like bard powers, because like in D&D, bards have like musical spells and stuff.
Sure, yeah.
And he's just like a musician. Like he doesn't really have any special powers or anything. His whole thing is he's
like the strategist.
Yeah, he's the strategist and he's the talker. Like he can charm his way out of situations.
Yeah.
That one scene where there's like those creatures that eat smart people, and like it didn't eat any of them.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a funny scene, but also I feel like that doesn't make a lot of sense, because I feel like some of them are
Smart in some ways.
Pretty smart in some ways, yeah. Especially the paladin guy who's like very serious.
Yeah.
I liked his character too.
Yeah, he definitely should have. Yeah. Yeah, he was fun. Like, the characters. That another thing where like if you make your characters good enough, the plot doesn't need to be anything super special.
And it wasn't. Like, the plot wasn't super special, but all the characters and actors were killing it.
Yeah, anybody who hasn't seen Dungeons and Dragons, the movie Honor Among Thieves, check that shit out. It's pretty solid. I'm gonna watch it again.
Not super long either.
Not a long.
Like an hour
less than
45.
2 hours.
Yeah.
Less than 2 hours.
Definitely no Avatar.
Definitely no Avatar.
Set aside some time for that.
Yeah.
I had to watch it in 2 chunks. I couldn't watch it the whole way through because not that I wasn't enjoying it. I was just like, this is.
I remember being at the theater and being like, we need to get out of here, man. I cannot sit in this theater anymore. Similar to how I felt today, but in a different way.
It's just, I really think Avatar would benefit from learning how to shorten itself a little bit. I know it's like the 3 hours is like, it's a grand epic movie, but like, you really don't need it to be.
They're going to all be that long.
I know they are.
I do want to cover a couple of things before we do the Indiana Jones thing. So one of my other new nerd shits, let me just grab it real quick. So Magic the Gathering, this just last week released, started doing their Lord of the Rings collection of their trading cards. I don't really play Magic the Gathering, know much about it. I've always known the cards. I know that the beautiful artwork goes into making of these cards and great game play.
Oh yeah, very fun.
I love Lord of the Rings.
Right.
So I just bought like a booster thing that came with 8 packs and like a bunch of cards. And look at this sick fucking die they gave me with it too. Like this like Lord of the Rings.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of die like
one
that.
die to rule them all.
I like that.
Yeah.
The cards are pretty cool. Each pack came with like an art card. So like this is like the Gimli art card. And I got the autograph of the person who drew it on there. So that's pretty cool. So there's the art cards. And they're
all you shooters out there, he's showing us some really beautiful artwork right now.
I know you can't really see it, but I mean I'll keep talking while I'm kind of presenting them to Braden. But I just think like there's so many cool cards and the artwork is really cool. Like they gave you in this set the Frodo card, like hollow. Samwise and my fucking.
I actually think I saw on Reddit. There's like the Magic the Gathering subreddit. They've been posting a lot of.
I bet.
I was like, why are there so many Lord of the Rings themed cards? Like, are these actual cards?
Just started, yeah. I got Gollum and then the One Ring, and like they all have like Gollum, patient plotter, Samwise, the stout-hearted. Like every card has different like surnames with them, and the art's just really cool. Like Frodo, the fucking little bitch. No, it says Sauron's Bane. Because Sauron only knew that Sam was his fucking Bane.
For sure.
For sure. But we're not going to get into that here. But, I mean, you get cards like Horses of the Bruin and like look at that card. It's just, like, there's so many. The Balrog, Durin's Bane card. Like, it's got all the lore characters and the movie characters. And Elephant. And, like, they just look really cool. And I don't play Magic the Gathering, but I think I'll probably buy more packs. Yeah. I think if you're a Lord of the Rings fan and you like me just want to see like more cool Lord of the Rings merch, I think buying some of these cards is well worth it. They got a Smaug card somewhere in here. Yeah, for fucking right on.
Get into the Hobbit. Was there a Bilbo card?
All of Middle Earth. I think there is. I mean, it's fucking dope, man. It's fucking dope.
He's the original Hobbit.
He is the original Hobbit. But that's just a little something I wanted to talk about real quick.
That actually reminds me.
That's nerd shit.
Of a little something. One other quick new nerd shit.
What's that?
Related to Lord of the Rings. You know how you hate reaction channels?
I do.
You don't see the point in them.
They're my least favorite thing that existence has ever.
You remember how you felt when you watched Lord of the Rings for the first time with Sam Atwell?
Sure.
Getting to see his reaction. It's kind of like a real-time reaction.
Right, the real one.
So I found this.
One that's real.
I stumbled upon this reaction channel where it's different from other reaction channels where it's villagers react. And they take these villagers from like, I'm not sure where they're from. They don't say. I think it's like rural Pakistan or rural India. But they're like rural ass villagers. Like they've not seen any Hollywood movies. Like they've seen like some movies, but you can tell like they're very rural, like not connected to the overall internet and stuff. And they show them like modern Hollywood movies and get their reactions and stuff. And it's translated for them and you get it's all translated in subtitles for what they're saying. But it's just like so interesting to see how they react to things, because they show them Lord of the Rings. And I watched the episode of them going through Lord of the Rings, and it's just so cool seeing them get their fucking mind blown by these things.
That's a reaction video I think I'd like. I see that seems more raw and real.
And seeing like their takes on it, because they have no experience with any of this.
Sure.
And so like they say some like...
They're just watching a movie.
Yeah, like they see the opening scene with like the men and elves fighting the orcs, and they're like, men are fighting devils. Good job, men. Like, they like fight those devils, and like the way they comment on like the struggles of the characters and stuff, and laugh. And it's very interesting. It's a new perspective on the reaction channels. It's not just some dumb fucking American couple that are just doing really fake, over-exaggerated reactions to try and get content.
No, going on top of that, just one more. The thing what I hate even more than videos of just people reacting to stuff is, it's like a TikTok thing going on right now. Or I see it on Instagram where it's like, it's just people watching like other Instagram videos or TikTok videos, and the screen is split, and it's just this person looking at their, like, watching the other video, and it's their reaction. It's so fucking stupid. It's like, why does this exist?
They're like, this is content.
And this is how people find certain videos, is they saw it not by on its own first. No, they have to watch this fucking idiot's dumb fat face sit there and be like,
yeah, and they're all super fake, and they're all
why it exists, I don't know.
Over exaggerating. But that's why I like the villagers react, because they're not like doing that, 'cause they don't have a concept of any of that. They're genuinely reacting to all this, and like you could tell their mind is blown by something.
That I like.
Yeah.
Raw,
uncut,
wiggling.
Yeah.
I have one thing for the In the Dark segment.
Okay.
One thing, and then we can.
I don't think I have anything, so yeah, go for it.
And then we can get to Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
But this is a follow-up. I'm not completely in the dark about it, but I'm in the dark about this upcoming thing based on this thing I'm going to talk about. But in a previous episode, one that I specifically have put on Spotify, find us on Spotify, Nerd Shit in the Dark, so people could listen to it, because it's one of my favorite episodes we ever did. But in the episode, I discuss my love for the show, not in great detail, but how much I enjoy Zoey 101.
Really?
Yeah.
That was not what I expected you to say.
That's what you said that one when we recorded that episode.
I forgot about it.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm a big fan. So, yeah.
You know, I'm the kind of girl.
Yeah, braid the embarrassment. Neil doesn't know the lyrics again.
Gotta break your leg, gotta get away.
Oh,
Yeah.
you are butchering
All just
all
sing
the
to me.
lyrics you can
All
sing.
the things that you could be. So, meeting myself, come follow me. Yeah.
Get the mug back. You're too close to my mic. So Zoey 101, I don't know if you saw this yet, but they put out a trailer last week for the movie that's coming out in July on Paramount Plus.
Wow.
Zoey 102.
Is it her daughter?
Oh no, I honestly think
The thing that ended the first Zoey 101?
Brayden, I think we need to. I'll cut it out of this, but I actually think you need to watch this trailer for Zoey 102 before we go on to talk about it.
All right.
This. So I'll put it on. I'm not going to pause it, but I will just cut.
Okay.
So Brayden and I just watched the Zoey 102 trailer because I didn't want to keep him completely in the dark with it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to describe all that, honestly.
No, I wouldn't have gotten it.
So that's coming out.
I guess Victoria Justice is too good for Zoey 102.
I looked into this because I thought the same thing. She actually had like a scheduling conflict when they filmed it.
She's doing stuff.
She is doing stuff. But so she just couldn't be on it. But I thought the same thing.
The only memory I have of Victoria Justice is her getting completely outshined by Ariana Grande on her own show.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, and one became a superstar. And apparently they didn't get along. Like they I don't know, supposedly they didn't have a good relationship, and Victoria bullied her a lot or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of bullying that went on in all of these shows I've read into this week.
And then she went, and then Ariana
Got into the backstory.
Grande went on to become Ariana Grande. And yeah.
But so what'd you think of that trailer? First of all,
Not what I expected.
Okay, I was angry when I first saw it.
Really?
Oh yeah, I was immediately. I was like, I'd never kind of like the One Piece. I was like, I don't know how to feel about this.
Biggest surprise was Chase. I wasn't expecting him to look like that. I guess he looks 30.
He's 30 something, and
Yeah.
he cut his hair.
He's not bad looking. He's just like a regular looking guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he really is. Yeah. Or even like Quinn and Logan look. Everybody just looks older. Logan kind of looks the same.
I didn't even notice them, to be honest. It's been so long.
Yeah, the people getting married are like the nerdy girl and the.
Oh, I thought they were new characters. Yeah.
No. And the black dude, Michael, he was there.
Is that how you characterize him?
One. Yeah, so sorry.
Her friend Michael.
But yeah, I'm trying to tell you a thing about him that would make him stand out. Him being the only.
Can you use any of his other traits? The funny dude, Michael.
They're all funny. It's a fucking Nickelodeon show. There was a point where an ass just shook in front of the scene. Not a naked ass, but like in like tight shorts. So
Yeah, was that the boyfriend's ass or was that?
I have no idea.
Oh, he's ass.
It was man. But the fact that there was an ass in to me, the first watch of it felt too adult, like to me. And then I kind of like
If
accept.
they're adult, it would be weird if they're acting like teenagers still. They even mention it in the trailer where it's like it's still weird that we're this obsessed with high school still.
Yeah. So, but then I watched it again and I liked it more. Now I'm looking forward to it. It's still like crazy, but like, so we started rewatching because I want to watch all of the original show before the new movie, and it's just gonna be so crazy to see these characters be those characters in a couple.
The target audience is you. Like it's people who grew up with the show.
Absolutely.
Like it's not for
It's
not
for
for
kids.
little kids. Yeah.
Which I thought when I heard this was coming out, I really thought that's what I thought it was gonna be like. Zoe's a teacher at PCA, and nope, she's fucking partying. Don't Stop by fucking Kesha's playing. They're drinking.
That was a throwback.
And I was like, holy fuck. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, but
Sure will be interesting.
can't wait to watch it. But yeah. So that's my in the dark. I'm in the dark about it because I'm just like, where is this gonna go? Like Chase and Zoey, I thought they just ended up together. Clearly they did.
Be sex in it. We don't know.
Like, if there was sex in this,
There's already drinking and ass shaking.
I don't know what I'm.
Sex is not going to be a bridge too far.
I don't think I'd.
Honestly, they're in their 30s. It would be weird if there wasn't sex in it.
They don't have to show us sex though.
Or I'm not saying they're going to show full P and V.
Did you see fucking Zoey? Do you want to see that naked?
I thought she still looked good.
She did have a kid at 16, so I give her.
No, I think she looks great for having a kid at 16.
I think you look fucking great for having a kid at 16.
Thank you. I never even had a kid at 16.
Let's move on. I'm done with this subject.
All right.
So here we are. It's time for our Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny review.
Right.
Braden and I just got out of this movie a couple hours ago. Saw it today. Haven't had a chance to talk about our thoughts.
At all, yeah.
And I was wondering how I wanted to approach this segment. And I think the best way I want to approach it is, Braden, I want you to give me your full review.
Full raw uncut.
I might interject in parts, but I want you to give me a synopsis, kind of like how you wrote our thing of your thoughts on this movie.
So, to start things off, it is the fourth best Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm at with that.
I mean, I'd have to watch Crystal Skull again, but I don't want to. So I'm just going to say it's better. That being said, that's not a hard bar to cross. And it was not good, I personally thought, as a movie. I didn't think it was horrendous. Don't get me wrong. It was serviceable. It's a very by-the-books Indiana Jones story. There's a MacGuffin that they need to find that's related to history. It has some stupid name. They have to go all around the world to find it. There's villains that are chasing them, blah, 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 blah. That being said, Harrison Ford is an 80-year-old man. And he looks it, and they don't try and shy away from it, except for one part of the movie, which I hated, which is the very beginning, where they had...
You didn't like the beginning of the movie?
No, not at all.
That's the part of the movie I
hated it. I hated it so much. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
With young, de-aged, Uncanny Valley Indiana Jones.
Oh, I didn't think it was the de-aging.
Oh, I thought it looked horrible. Maybe I'm just too used to like seeing AI de-aging now, but like I could just see it. So anytime his face moved, it just looked unnatural.
Oh, wow. I thought
they were too proud of it. I thought they showed him too much, and I thought the scene went on for way too long than it needed to. Because he's fighting Nazis, and that's cool and all. But it just goes on. It's a big, long train sequence. A lot of dumb shit happens, which, yeah, it's Indiana Jones. Like, you forgive that. I guess my biggest gripe with it, and the Australians talk about this a little bit, where, like, Mr. Sunday Movies, for all you shitters out there who don't know what we're talking about, YouTube channel, check it out. The first 3 Indiana Jones movies are mostly all practical effects with real stunts going on. Pretty much most of the scenes in this, like action scenes, are digitally enhanced or created in some way, especially in the beginning where it's de-aged Harrison Ford. And all of it is like CGI action, and I'm like, I do not care, because none of this is actually happening. It doesn't feel real to me, and I was very bored for the first little bit of that. Not the only time I was bored. I was bored a lot. I will have to say, this is the movie's biggest sin for me. Not the de-aged Harrison Ford that I didn't like, that you liked, which is fine. I just personally couldn't get into it. It was distracting to me. It went on for way too long. But the biggest sin of this movie is that he only uses his whip once, and it's treated as a joke. He whips it around once to, like, scare people.
Yeah, like a crazy person.
Like a crazy person. Then it like a bunch of people pull out guns. It's like a callback from like the one where he's about to have a big sword fight, and he just pulls out his gun and shoots the guy. They all pull out their guns and shoot at him because he's just whipping this whip around like a crazy person, and you never see it again. The whip has always been the coolest part of Indiana Jones's character to me. I figured since he's older now, he'd rely on it even more, because like you can still whip as an old man. He won't be able to
Whipper snapper is what they call people.
Be able to swing around and stuff, but like I thought he would use it at least twice.
Yeah,
but it's just that one time.
He does use it once at the beginning. Yeah.
I missed that part because I was tuned out during that.
Yeah, but you're right. It is just those 2 times. I was gonna say there was another time,
but like I said, the whips were like the whip scenes. Whenever he uses his whip in the first 3 movies, were always the coolest scenes to me, because I just think that's a really cool signature weapon, really unique, that like you don't see that a lot, and they just completely got rid of it. It felt like he doesn't even have a gun for most of the movie too. He's just fighting with his fists, which is, you know, even less believable than if he had a gun. Like, just give him a gun. He's had a gun before.
He could still use a gun.
He does use guns, but he's not very good at the gun. But he mostly is just a punchy old guy.
And being old, it's tough. Like I was saying to Brian on the way home, if he punches a guy, like, good chance he'd break his whole arm.
His knuckles are shattered. Yeah, he's just full on closed fisting, punching a guy in the face.
Once again, it's a movie.
Suspend your disbelief.
You have to.
Yeah, there's that one scene at the beginning where like he's fighting on top of the train, and like the main Nazi like pushes him into like the ceiling. They're going into a tunnel, pushes him into the ceiling. I'm like, his ass right here, she's great.
His spine is fucking mutilated.
No, he's fine. His leather jacket shields it all.
Right. Just like the bomb that he survives.
He survived several bombs.
Yeah.
Several explosions.
That was something that I thought.
No shrapnel whatsoever going around. But yeah, again, it's just like that scene would have been cooler if it wasn't all digital effects, because it's just like he's just in a green screen and this is not really happening. When like another scene, like the previous movies, you could pull that ridiculous scene off because they would have real practical sets. Mm-hmm.
They would have a real young Harrison Ford.
Oh, young Harrison Ford. But they can't do that now because he is an 80-year-old man. And so they give most of like the bigger action scenes to his goddaughter.
But I believe it with her.
I believe it with her because she is young. She's like she's the one who's supposed to do all the young things.
The youth of the nation.
And her character was a mixed bag for me.
Under God.
I did hate her.
Indivisible.
Initially, and then by the end of the movie, I didn't quite mind her. I still didn't think she was the best part of the movie. But she did a fine job for what she was given, I thought.
With liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. They have a short round character who's not short round, but he's basically the archetype of short round. Yeah. Why don't they just bring back short round?
He's not a kid anymore. It doesn't work. He's an old man too.
But he still has the same charm. You saw him in... Have you watched Everything Everywhere All at Once?
No.
Oh.
Have you?
No.
Oh.
But we've seen him.
We do need to watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen that he's in it. I saw that he won an Oscar for it.
He's apparently very good in it.
I think he should have been in the movie too, but I don't.
Because they bring back other...
Film that movie before he fucking won that award.
They bring back other old Indiana Jones characters, and they have a kid who's clearly supposed to be the cute short round character, And initially I
For a
wasn't
short round.
sold on this kid either, because I'm like, he's no short round. But he does fine near the end. Like, he does his own action thing.
There are worse kid actors in movies.
Yeah, for
Remember, you didn't see Black Adam, did you?
No,
The kid in that's fucking awful.
bad. Yeah.
So bad.
But yeah, the kid does, like, his, like, short round, you know, he's scrappy and he can get out of situations. And, like, I thought initially this kid was just going to keep getting in trouble, but he does figure out a way.
Flies the plane
That was part
at
of
the
it.
end.
Now, they do make it a bit more believable by having the pilot in there, but I'm like, this kid is fucked. Because I've flown planes
Sure.
before. You cannot land it on the first try. Like, you need someone who knows what
I'm
they're
glad
doing.
that was the most believable thing they put in the movie was that guy was there to fly the plane.
Yeah, because I'm just like, you can literally train a monkey to start and take off a plane, but you can't train them how to land. Like, landing is tough.
I thought that dialogue was funny when she was like, "Can you pilot one of those?" And he was like, "I don't, but I can give it a try." And then she was like, "But you've never flown before." And it's like, didn't you just ask him to fly the
Why'd you
fucking
ask
plane? You asked him to do it. He said he could do it. And you tell him not to do it. And thank God he did, or you'd be stuck in fucking BC.
Oh, so the villains of this are Nazis, which is great. We hate Nazis here. Yeah, Nazis.
Ugh.
But they have the villain problem where they are incompetent when they need to be incompetent. They're omniscient when they need to be omniscient, and they can also teleport because they were on their ass the entire time. No matter how badly they got delayed, they would always be one step behind Indiana Jones. But every time they had a chance to actually like fuck them up or do something, like they probably captured them like 6 times or something in the movie, and they escaped every time.
Yeah, every time.
Every time they're just pointing guns at them, like put the gun down, and like they have to
I
get.
think they eventually just fucking there was a lot of like just get away from being shot
Yeah,
type of thing.
a lot of get away from being shot. And so yeah, they were kind of all over the place with that. Like they weren't very consistent with how good they were. I did like the big beefy Soviet guy. He went out kind of.
The whole movie, I was like, I can't wait to see how they take this guy
Yeah.
out. And I don't know if I like it or not how they took him out. I don't know. I think I'm fine with it. I want to know
I'm
more.
fine with it. I also wanted more, especially because I thought for sure that wasn't his end, because that was a weak ass looking grate he got handcuffed to, and he's a big guy. I thought for sure he was gonna just rip the grate out because it was ancient rope bridge. That's like a 2,000-year-old rope bridge, and it supports all of them fine.
Yeah, until it didn't.
So it did it, and then it was fine again.
And then they went back over it at the end.
It's like, yeah, 2,000-year-old rope and wood, perfectly fine supporting all these adults going across it at the same time. At one point, like they all just go across. Like I would go one at a time. Yeah, and then it's like they're stupid when they need to be stupid, when the movie needs them to be stupid. But they're omniscient, like they know everything that the heroes are going to do when they need to know that.
Yeah, I was talking about the scene that we looked at each other for on the way home today, where it was like Indiana Jones and his goddaughter were escaping by sea, and it was the map. It did the cliche Indiana Jones. The map shows you where it's going. It's just so that
It's like they're heading west instead of east.
and it like fades out. And it was just like I could have just figured he'd found him again. Like I didn't need that weird. Like I think because the scene right before that was like Indiana Jones is just fucking underwater, like with his boat crew with Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
And they found him there, and they didn't explain how the fuck they found him there. And I just went along with
That's
it.
what I said.
Oh, the bad guy showed
They're
up.
omniscient and they can teleport. Like they even said, like the Aegean Sea, which they were in, is huge. They needed like the exact coordinates, which I guess maybe there's a part in the movie I just wasn't paying attention to. The villains got the coordinates and followed them.
I didn't see it either.
I didn't see it. But they found them, no problem.
Sure did.
Killed everyone. Another thing, they have
A lot of dead people in this one. They killed everybody.
just randomly killing the most random civilians in the place
But they won't put down Indiana Jones.
at all. They will not kill or harm the main characters whatsoever. They had huge plot armor until they don't, but then they do again.
Recovery.
Yeah, plot recovery. So that bothered me. I was like, villains are all over the place. Like, are they ruthless killers or are they just one of those Bond villains that just loves to capture them and toy with them?
Yeah.
But then, yeah, that scene where, like, I looked at you because they're going west, like, did another boat come and pick them up? Like, that little dingy side thing. You cannot tell me that thing was able to cross the entire Mediterranean from wherever they are, the Aegean Sea near Greece to Sicily, and be like just like 15 minutes behind them. They get there. Like it's literally like they show up at the city, the villains are there again.
They're right there. Like there was no like
not even winded or anything. They're just like
they're like, we've already got enough scenes that go on too long. Let's just get to it here.
But I was just like, yeah, they managed to figure out exactly where, and like they had to have been like right on their ass. So that little boat, unless they got picked up by a bigger boat at some point, had to have just chased them without them noticing. Because how else would they know where they were going? They said, oh, they're heading west. West where? West is like half of Europe. They could be anywhere. But they knew exactly the town and place where they were dropped off and were right there for it. So I was like, this is just a nitpick, but one of the things that really irked me about the daughter character, I forget her name. There's like Helena or something. Yeah.
Helena Shaw.
Yeah. There's multiple scenes where she is eating and talking at the same time. Like just eating and talking, like multiple scenes.
I hate people that do that.
She's talking with little short round. And I don't really care, but it was distracting to me because Indiana Jones doesn't do that, but she did it multiple times in the movie where she's just explaining things with a mouthful of whatever she was eating at the time.
Yeah.
I hated her fucking stupid little shirt or shirts that had like, I don't know. I'm just nitpicking here. Things that didn't gel.
Didn't like her. I didn't mind her character.
But that's what I said. I think it's better than the Crystal Skull. It's a very one-to-one. And I like Indiana Jones. I just don't like the new characters that were in Short Round. Otherwise it was a very one-to-one and gets ridiculous in the end, which I was fine with. Because they're explaining like the whole plot, exposition stuff, which it was going completely over my head. Where like it was supposed to make, like the exposition was supposed to make sense, but they're like, this thing can detect fissures in time, and they don't explain really what that means. Just that I guess they can time travel and they can somehow figure out how to go to an exact place or time. But because of continental drift, they end up going to the exact, like way further back than they wanted to go, to like the exact place that they had talked about earlier in the movie, place and time, like the exact moment. And that's a big coincidence. Also, I don't think...
But here's the thing. Here's the thing that kind of ruins the whole continental drift thing being why they... Because they kind of explained that that's not really why it didn't work. It did still work because what's-his-face made it happen.
Right.
It was always...
It was also like, 2,000 years, yeah, the continents would drift a little bit, but not by a lot. That takes like millions of years to actually... Like, it would move like a few feet, maybe, I don't know. 2,000 years, it's really not a lot.
I mean, it still worked.
Also, this is just another nitpick. She mentions when she was asking him the question, like, why, like, what would you change if you could go back in time?
Yeah.
She's like, would you see the Trojan War? Trojan War never fucking happened. That's a myth in Greek mythology, and she should know that. That's a completely made up. I don't even think Troy's a real city. And she's like, would you go see the Trojan War? And you're supposed to be history buffs.
That was my favorite scene, actually, in the movie.
It was the best scene, actually, because he explains
favorite scene.
why Shia LaBeouf
is dead. Yeah, I wanted to leave
and it
with
made
that.
sense. It was
Shia LaBeouf, it was good.
Yeah.
They didn't just kill him. Well, at first, like, we just heard on the news thing where he was like, he lost his son, and I literally thought the movie was not going to go any deeper into it. I was like, I wanted to turn there and be like, Shia LaBeouf is dead. But they did go into it, and I'm glad they went into it, and it set up a really compelling, storyline for Indiana. It was an emotional scene. I liked that scene a lot. It was my favorite scene.
Yeah, that was the scene where I probably felt something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wasn't. I didn't really laugh, or like, none of the jokes really landed for me.
A couple of them landed for me. A couple of them.
I'm trying to think of what landed for me. There was one or two, but not many. Oh, and just another thing that I didn't really like, the like color saturation. Like, I don't know, like every fucking movie looks like this nowadays, where like the colors are just like super saturated and in your face, and everything looks like super sheeny and like hyper realistic and stuff. And like, I don't like that. Like, everyone looked a little too clean. Like, I like when Indiana Jones looks grimy, and like the first three movies had that feel. Now they're older movies, so it's like an older film, but I think that works to their advantage because it looks like they're archaeologists doing a big dig. But this one kind of looked like what every other modern movie looked like.
I mean, it kind of has to look like a modern movie.
No, it doesn't. No, they can change it.
No, it does.
No, that's just a trend. They don't have to do that.
They don't have to, but I'm kind of glad they do.
I'm not.
I not that I don't like how 80s movies looks, but they look that way because they came out in the fucking 80s, and I'm fine with that. But like, I like things looking a little fresher because, can I tell you something? I think this might be my favorite Indiana Jones movie.
No, it's not.
I am just fucking with you. I didn't want to just say that.
Punch you in the face.
Could have whipped me and left. No, I'm just fucking with you.
Podcast
I am just fucking with you. But what I do want to say is, I'm glad it was filmed like that because I don't think I could have made it through the movie if at least it wasn't nice to look at.
I don't think it was nice to look at. Was the thing though.
It worked for me. If it was an 80s looking movie, I would have fell asleep.
There's a way you can,
for absolute fucking sure.
there's a way, like
Fall
there's
asleep.
modern film. There's a way you can make it look more worn out without making it look old as shit or in the 80s. Like you can still make it look modern, but make it look more appropriate to the time. Like a lot of war films do that.
I know they do, but I still don't think it would work for this movie.
I think it would have made it.
Me awake.
That's what would put you to sleep.
No, that would that I'm telling you how
You
it
needed some bright colors to keep your attention.
to keep me awake for this movie, dude. Yes, I did. I didn't hate this movie. I did not hate this movie.
I didn't hate it. I am being very critical of it. It wasn't.
Boring ass movie though.
It was very boring. It wasn't great. Like I said, still the fourth best Indiana
The
Jones.
difference for me is I really liked the first 20 minutes because that was the only part of the movie that I was having fun and felt like there was action.
I was immediately bored. I almost fell asleep during it.
Oh, that was the only part I liked because after that, it just got old and kind of slow. Not the only part that I liked, but you know what I mean? Like I was tired the whole.
It's a lot of like
I couldn't wake up.
of like MacGuffin explaining and like
There was really no great action scenes. There were really no, like, none of the scenes, other than like when they had to dive to get the things under the water, there were no scenes that had like, I like that scene. But other than that scene, there was no scenes that really had narrative purpose. So like there was a lot of just action.
a lot of mindless action for action's sake.
And like that just didn't,
Like that whole motorcycle chase scene with Short Round.
yeah, boring.
Short Round's not in this movie, but the Short Round archetype.
The Egyptian short round.
Yeah, They never mentioned Short Round either. Bring back all of his other old buddies. Never mentioned the one kid Indiana Jones actually likes.
Yeah, not even once. But he does kind of give like Elizabeth that like, hey, he like acknowledges that's her short round kind of,
Yeah.
without saying it. Yeah, I kind of, I don't know. I have to think about. I told Miranda this is one I got to stew on, because I don't think it is the fourth best. I'm not sure if I think it's the fourth best. Because I said to this, though Crystal Skull is full of ridiculous dumb moments,
Which this is also.
it is a fun movie to watch, though. It's still fun.
Yeah.
It's still a fun movie.
Would you watch this movie again?
I think I would. I feel like I need to watch it again. But
I don't know if I could.
I'm not super compelled to.
I don't think it held my interest enough. I was teetering on.
I was going to wait for a post-credit scene, maybe.
No, I was teetering on like, this is the worst Indiana Jones movie, but I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't really.
That's ridiculous shit.
It was more grounded than the fourth one. I will say that. Even though it does go completely off the rails at the end, which is fine because all Indiana Jones movies do.
It sure does. And I didn't. I was stuck at the end part with like, is this too off the rails for me or not? I couldn't really decide.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like that off the rails ending more than Crystal Skulls. Like the aliens thing did not work for me at all in the last one. This I'm at least like, all right. I knew they had to go back in time somewhere.
Yeah. I do like, and again, spoiler alert for people who care to see this movie. I do think it was funny that in the end, it became about trying to stop the villain from killing Hitler. Yeah, it's
It's gonna be a super.
yeah, he's gonna be super Hitler, and it's
goal is
gonna be worse. But like, and still, his goal was to go back in time and kill Hitler because he thought Hitler fucked up the war, which he did. He's right about that. And Mads Mikkelsen did fine. He's great. He's playing a Mads Mikkelsen character.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's
essentially the same guy from Casino Royale.
Yep, pretty much. He's the villain. He's a villain guy. He says serious lines, and he's a Nazi.
Super Nazi.
I do like the parts where Harrison Ford, those were the jokes that landed for me. He was like, too many Nazis. Like,
Fucking Nazi.
sorry, you're a fucking Nazi.
He was an 80-year-old man in the fucking 60s.
Yeah.
That's who Indiana Jones was in this movie. Fuck Nazi.
No empathy at all for when Nazis died,
No.
as it should be.
One of the only people he shot was that Nazi at the end that was holding on to his goddaughter in the airplane.
Yeah, and I was like, good.
And I think he made a Nazi line there, too.
Yeah.
Somebody did.
There's a few Nazi lines that are
Nazi.
just like,
Fuck
Nazis.
Yeah, go that for the movie. Fuck some Nazis.
Yeah, that's all. I always like a good Nazi villain that gets their comeuppance.
As they deserve.
Yeah.
But, oh, yeah.
It's tough. It's a toughie.
I want to talk about the ending a little. Like, where would you rather be with it? I almost wish they would have let him die in the past and the movie.
I think that would have broken.
You think that you wouldn't have liked that?
I wouldn't have liked if, like, yeah, that's how Indiana Jones ends. He ends up staying, spoiler alert, he ends up staying in Archimedes' time and chills with him in, like, 214 BC or whatever.
Well, but I would have took it as, like, they would have left him there. Because I don't think he would have chilled. He would have just died. He was going to die from his bullet hole and just die.
Yeah, because they don't have modern medicine. They, like she said, they would have just put leeches on you and you would have died.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would have, because the ending that we do get, I'm glad, I guess I am.
Right, and that's what he basically says. He's like, I've studied this event my whole life, and I get to see it in real time and have a major effect on the battle.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really, they're the ones who scare away the Romans from Syria.
I think that's a more depressing ending than the movie if he would have died there. But the one we did get, it really felt kind of even more out of place to me. Because at the end of the movie, throughout the movie, you see that Indiana Jones is getting a divorce, and then you find out like they're divorcing because after their son Shia LaBeouf died,
How'd he die?
He went he joined the war.
Yeah, he died in World War II,
and
which I was fine with. Like, that makes sense.
Was it World War II though? Is that where he would have died?
Yeah,
based around where he's in, like in the timeline. I don't think it would have been World War II.
Oh wait, no.
Because Indiana Jones was that
would have been Vietnam.
Yeah, it would have been much later.
Yeah,
like,
Vietnam's going on at this.
You're telling me he died and then they stayed together for 4 years?
I was thinking World War II.
Now we're getting a divorce.
Yeah, I was thinking World War II because the movie starts with World War II.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be because I'm pretty sure you meet Shia LaBeouf post-World.
Yeah, you're right. No, it's in the 50s. Yeah,
so it would be a different war. But
would have been Vietnam or Korea.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, probably Vietnam because they vaguely mention that Vietnam's going on right now. There's like a stop the war protest and stuff.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so I like that. But, like, so you're just like, oh, that's why they're getting divorced. That's a real, like, reason that they, like, just can't be together. Their kid died, yada, yada, yada.
Very common with couples who lose a child.
And then she just shows back up at the end. And she's like, your goddaughter told me you were back. And I was like...
You're also old as fuck.
You're not... Oh, old as fuck. Yeah, she looks worse. Not worse. I mean, she's an old lady, but she's when I see her, I think like, oh man, getting old.
I had an asshole, or were you also getting uncomfortable when they were doing like the like kisses in the end, where she's like, where does it hurt? And just like right here, and then he like kisses her elbow.
So I like that scene because it's a callback to Raiders of the Lost Ark. He does that same thing in that movie. So I didn't hate that. It didn't make me uncomfortable, but I didn't really like it either. I didn't buy that she was back.
Yeah,
she divorced him because like he was off and away.
It's goddaughter that I'm not even sure if she really even knows that well, because he stopped seeing her when she was 12.
Yeah, and he wasn't with his wife for a good chunk between Raiders of the Lost Ark and Crystal Skull.
Somehow convinced her to come back to their broken marriage and give it another shot.
Yeah, so like it's a nice ending. It's a happier ending in a dark time for Indiana Jones.
This felt a little forced.
Just came out of nowhere. That's why I almost wanted a post-credit scene, because I was like, we're going to elaborate any of this? Because I also didn't like that they broke up either. So it was just like, I just couldn't win in any of the...
But I also like that Shia LaBeouf wasn't in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would have been a tough one.
I'm glad they explained that he was dead, and I'm glad they went into a little more detail of how he died, instead of just like, he's just not there. Oh, he's dead. So, it has good moments. I don't know if I like it more than the fourth or not. I just don't know. It was something.
Yeah.
Something that I got very tired, but I still, it's Indiana Jones, so like I really pushed through it. I liked it, but I really, going into this movie, wanted to like it a lot more. I want to have less gripes than I do, which I have a lot of. So I don't know where I'm at with Indiana Jones.
Pretty much, yeah, that whole, like, I'm just also remember, like, do you remember her like ex-boyfriend?
Yeah.
That whole part. That was like you can cut all of that.
Completely get rid of
Completely
that.
mindless, meaningless action.
Actually, you
Never
never
seen
remind
it
me
again.
of him by saying, "Do you remember?" Because I did kind of forget that whole thing because it was so stupid and out of nowhere, and they were just like there to be a distraction in the bigger.
I like how they kind of hint that she's a bit of a manonizer.
Sure.
Like he was a womanizer.
Sure. Yeah.
She's like a bit of a she flirts with all the guys.
Yeah. She sees one. She's like,
wants to get that
look at
strange. Yeah.
Yeah.
She never gets any strange in the movie, but she wants it.
You assume she can.
Oh,
You
yeah.
Same with like Indiana Jones. You could assume at any moment.
Yeah.
You could. Oh.
But-
I guess she wasn't the like cliche like pretty girl either. You know what I mean? Like she wasn't like.
She was tough, kind of petulant at times.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like there was parts where I didn't like her because she was like
Yeah. Her character was all over the
a
place.
bit too cocky, but then it sometimes worked. Like it sometimes was good, and then other times it was a bit too much.
Yeah. Better than Shia LaBeouf.
Way better. Yeah, I would take her over Shia any day.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
Glad he died.
What's his name again?
So I don't fucking know.
Like a dog or something. Like some wolf. I don't know.
Wolfie.
It's like that's like his nickname. I think his full name is like Henry Jones the Third or something. Because I think that's the scene in Crystal Skull. You find out he's his kid, but he has like a name. It's not wolf, but it's not dog either. But it's something.
Bart.
I have to look it up now because I just can't let it end like this. Give me one second. Mutt. I don't even.
Mutt.
It's Mutt Williams.
Mutt Williams, yeah.
Mutt. So better than Mutt.
Glad Mutt wasn't there.
Me too.
Glad he died in war.
Yeah, in war. One other thing. I like that Mads Mikkelsen's character took a fucking train slap to a piece of metal to his
Fine.
face
Yeah, he's fine.
at the beginning. I thought he'd at least have like some kind of like Bond villain wound, just alive and kicking. In fact, he got people on the moon.
Yeah.
The moon landing takes place in this.
Call it back. Yeah, he's like one of the Nazi scientists that the Allies recruit after the war's over to build their rockets.
Sure.
Which, like, yeah,
No brain damage from that accident whatsoever. Made him smarter.
totally. Yeah, he's really fine. Got a lot of power.
It's like, you know what? I do know what Hitler did wrong, actually.
That happens a lot also in this movie, which was something I wasn't going to mention, but since you brought it up, another one of my pet peeves in movies is when characters take like big hits to the head or like objects fall on them, they come out and they're clean.
Unscathed, yeah.
That one big fucker gets like the whole shelf of antiques collapse on it,
Oh, yeah.
dusts himself off.
Doesn't get that.
Completely, no bruises, no cuts, anything.
No
The
cuts,
other,
no cuts.
the other
nothing.
guy, the blonde fucker, whatever his name was,
Yeah.
he get punched in the
dude
face
from Logan.
hard several times.
Yeah.
No bruises, no broken nose, no cuts. Like it just makes it less real to me. Just makes it too beyond the realm of
It's fair.
which that's part of the charm of Indiana Jones is that it teeters that line of like realism and extraordinary, but like you still like in the originals, like you still get cuts and bruises and damage and beat up, and it just felt like anything that they did to these guys, they were fine.
Yeah. Yes.
I just feel like they also didn't really have a satisfying deaths at all.
No, I was just thinking that as you were
You could
saying.
have had a really fun death for the big guy,
Sure.
and it was cool that short round
Gave him a death.
took him out.
Sure, yeah.
But again, it wasn't like a definitive scene where I was like, "Oh, he's dead."
Like 5 scenes where Indiana Jones like punched that guy and couldn't do any damage. So like I was like, how's Indy gonna like cool kill this guy?
Yeah,
Didn't. No, and then the main guy and the fucking blonde mustache dude, they just get in a plane wreck. But like, yeah, they die. Like you see Mads Mikkelsen's fucking dead corpse, and that's kind of cool looking. But like,
they fucking Game of Thrones harpooned the plane.
dude, just their plane, not the other plane. The other plane got to go home.
Completely fine. Yeah,
Did not even get attacked a little, but the
they
Nazis,
landed right in front of the walls. They're like,
even the fucking Romans, not the Nazis are no good.
Yeah.
And
I did think it was funny that he thought he could do something by just like machine gunning the Roman soldiers. Like, fuck these guys.
yeah. Yeah, they kind of made those. That's the thing. They're very 80s villains, these guys. They wrote in a weird. It's the same thing with Crystal Skull. They wrote an 80s movie and filmed it today, and that's what we got. Yeah. But you got anything left to say about Indiana Jones?
I hit most of my points.
I think I did what I need to say too. I still,
Still disappointed about the whip.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Signature Indiana Jones.
I feel that way. I didn't even think about it, but once you said it, I was like, that is a fair argument.
Yeah.
Cannot fault you there. I think the only difference in opinion we have on this movie, to an extent, is the 20-minute opening, where to me, it's my favorite part. I wish I would have got...
And that's one of my least favorite.
I wish I could have got a whole movie of that. I like that so much, as opposed to this movie.
Right.
Yeah. So, that's our Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
They don't even call it the Dial of Destiny in it. Nope. They didn't have to call the movie the Dial of Destiny. They could have gave it some
alliteration. They do call it a dial, though.
I do love their MacGuffin alliteration, because initially you're led to believe that there's a different MacGuffin, which that was also a weird part where they're like the spear,
the knife that like stabbed Jesus. I can't remember what it's called.
Longitude of latitude or something. It was like an L alliteration.
Sure.
And then they're like, no, it's actually fake, and we're not going to talk about this ever again. This is the actual MacGuffin.
The goal in even using the dial later in the movie is that to actually, like, I thought they're going to use the dial to get whatever the real version of that knife is.
Doesn't matter.
Does not matter.
Yeah.
Which, whatever.
Which just leads you to believe, why didn't they just make the MacGuffin that they're going to use the MacGuffin and not have this whole fake storyline?
Like I said, I'll take it though, because that 20 minutes is what I liked about the movie.
There's even a scene where like he's cut. I think Mads Mikkelsen is cut by the spear. Like it shows his hand get like cut by the spear, and they make kind of a thing of it, like really quick. And I'm like, oh, is that going to give him like magical powers or something?
So I found out it was fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then turns out it's nothing. It's fine. They don't mention it again. He doesn't even have a cut later on, because they don't.
Well, he has great skin, dude. Where he takes a sign from that train at the beginning.
They never take damage until they do.
Yeah. Yeah. Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny.
Please don't make any more.
We said, I think we're done.
Yeah.
There is we'll always have 3 really good ones. I'm going to watch Crystal Skull again, and I'm going to say, how did that movie make me feel overall?
It's definitely the goofiest one.
I think it's a more fun movie because that movie this new one to me was not fun. I didn't have a fun time with it.
It wasn't very fun, no.
Except the first 20 minutes to me was at least fun.
And I thought the ending scene was a little fun, like...
The ending scene was a little fun.
Probably could have done a little...
When it got wacky, I did get up a bit. I started paying attention more. I was like, this, I can,
Probably could have done a little more with it, because it was just like, oh, we're in this battle a little bit. And like, it was a very interesting premise that they could have made a little more interesting, but they didn't really.
No. I knew when that scene started, we were on those ending things are never super long parts of the movie, so I was like, we're on borrowed time.
And again, it's a Hollywood movie, so you suspend your disbelief, but Indiana Jones speaks perfect archaic Italian, because they're not speaking modern Italian. They're speaking 214 BC.
He's an archaeologist.
Yeah, he knows these. He's fluent in all these old languages.
I want to say one more thing before we shut the review up, because I forgot to mention this. I was going to bring it up earlier, because this was a gripe of mine as well. One more gripe. Though I didn't think the de-aging looked bad. I didn't at all. I thought it worked really well. Here's what made it not work, though, entirely for me, because to me, it was young Harrison Ford's face, but it was still old man Harrison Ford's
you could tell
voice.
You could tell they still
coming out of that mouth, and that's where it was tough for me. It was a little jarring, because I was like, he looks like young Harrison Ford. He certainly looks like maybe 10 years after The Last Crusade Harrison Ford, but he sounds like old man Harrison Ford, and that's tough. Yeah, I know what he sounds like when he's younger. If they could just AI some voice to make it a little more there, that part would be completely safe for me. But other than that, that's all I got.
And it was like, there's definitely worse de-aging out there. It's just, I'm used to seeing it now, and I just kept getting uncanny valley of like, those aren't he's not actually emoting. Like, that's like a computer trying to be human.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work for me.
That's fair. I think, to me, it's the best that I've ever seen, though, so I can't.
They certainly show a lot of it. They were confident in it.
They really...
They even, like, just pause on his face for a while, just watching it, and I was like, this is too long.
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate that. Well, that's Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And I think that might be the show, unless there's anything else you wanted to add on.
I think we touched upon everything.
Yeah, okay, so that's Nerd Shit in the Dark. Thanks for coming out, shitters.
Always love to have you.
Look for us on Spotify still. Now we got the...
Yep, follow us.
Follow us on Spotify. You can follow us on YouTube at Nerd Shit, one word, entertainment. We're going to put a lot of content out. Face Creep Kitchen, reviews. I actually think, I know that we don't do this in this show anymore, but I do think we should do a side thing where we do Weeb Shit in the Dark, where we talk about our anime and shit, because I do think we should still do that, even though it shouldn't be part of this show.
I feel like we should watch RRR.
Oh yeah,
together.
Yeah.
But should we do a reaction?
Oh no,
we don't want to put that on our YouTube channel.
Like our reaction of us watching it.
Almost, yeah. Like,
or like our review after we watch it.
Either one.
I would do like an episode of this after we and talk about it, but I don't want to set up a camera of us watching a movie and how we...
Right, because then we'll feel like we have to react when we're just...
And I won't. Because, I mean, if you would have watched me watching Indiana Jones today, you wouldn't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Times. We're not reaction people.
No. But I'd watch... I think we should do one where we watch that and Everything Everywhere.
I just think it would be
about those
one to react to, because it's just something we have no idea what it's about. And, like, Bollywood movies are very different from Hollywood movies.
I mean, we could record it and see if it's worth putting out there.
Test it.
Because I think if we would have did a reaction video when we watched this Army Man, I think I reacted quite a bit to that. Yeah. So maybe. I also think that we should do an episode where when One Piece comes out, you come over here and we watch all 8 episodes.
Yeah.
We just make a day of it.
I would like that.
And then we talk about that, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot to talk about with that.
Come, stop. I think it's going to be good.
You have completely flip-flopped where you were with me when we first watched.
I know. I was initially like, this is bad, but then I was like, it's goofy, and One Piece is goofy. And so if it manages to do goofy well and not like Netflix goofy cringy...
I hope so. But I don't believe it. I just don't believe it.
Because I will say...
I gave too much credit into going into Cowboy Bebop and they fucked me.
Yeah, because I will say this is the one where like they physically cannot do it a one-to-one adaptation. Like they have to...
And I don't expect it.
Yeah, they have to change things. If they try and do it one-to-one, it will suck.
I don't think that's what's going to be bad about it.
Yeah, I mean, it does concern me that it's Netflix, and Netflix does not have a proven track record with adapting anime. But like, the only thing that saves it is that I do think the actors enjoyed it. I think they'll do a good job with whatever they have, and Oda did sign off on it.
Yep.
Which is more than what we can say about some of the other shows, like Avatar.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
We'll see.
But I'm
going to give it a shot.
We're going to watch it.
Yeah.
August 31st, I believe, so. I think we should, I really do. You come over and we'll just make a day out of it.
We diggity down.
Watch that shit. But other than that, guys, that's Nerd Shit in the Dark. Brayden, you want to give a goodbye to the folk?
Yeah. Nerd shit. In the dark. In the dark, I'm a natural. Nerd shit in the dark. Woo!